everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Friday, January 20th, 2023. Thank you so much for being here. Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host, Brian Kruse. Thank you for joining us here again tonight. It's Friday, everybody. It's Friday. Yeah, let's have some fun this Friday show. And back with me again on Kruse Control is my fellow co-host, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome back to Kruse Control. Happy
Hi.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
How's your day?
Well, my car broke down, so there was some drama with that. So that wasn't too fabulous. But I think it's getting itself worked out. So, I mean, yeah, could be worse, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, not having a car in LA is problematic. If anybody lives in LA, I've had a lot of friends that don't have cars, and it's like, I don't know how they do it because the transportation system out here sucks monkey nuts. That's all I'm saying. You can't get anywhere. I mean, you can get there. It just takes about 4 hours as opposed to, if you drive, it takes about 2. So, it's up to you how you want to manage your time. So no car, good luck. I had a friend that actually was going to Long Beach. I was working on Elva and the Chipmunks, the Squeakquel one time. And he went from the Squeakquel. Yeah. So if you know this at all, he went from, if you know the Valley, if you know LA at all, he went from, it was like Thousand Oaks all the way down to Long Beach. We had like a 7 a.m. call time. He left at 2:30 in the morning every day, so we get there on time. We were there for a week-long shooting. So yeah, that would suck. But anyways, also joining us here tonight.
Why didn't you give him a ride, dude? That's super rude of you.
Well, I eventually did a little bit, a couple times. But you know how that is. Like, especially when I first got out here, you find everybody doesn't have a car, and they're like latch onto you, and it costs so much, and sometimes they're so far away from you. It's like a pain to drop people off and pick them up. But I tried my best when I could, and I did help them out a few times. Jake Skelly, I'm talking about you. And also, welcome to the program is Mr. Jake Slonecki, manager at Citizen Skull Management here in Hollywood, California. Jake, how's your day?
It's good. It's going good. Busy day today.
Oh, yeah?
Starting to see a lot more stuff coming down. It's starting to pick up heading into the spring here, so it's good news.
It's about time, right? You're like, come on, bring on the projects. People need to get to work.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't see any auditions in my inbox, Jake. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'm working on it.
Well, thank you for being here, Jake. Appreciate it. As always, happy Friday. Happy you're here with us. We're going to have a good time. We're going to just, jump around the news stuff. Today's a little bit more lighthearted. Yesterday was very murder-based and and a lot of serious stuff. Yeah, last night we had Lynn here. Lynn Wojciechowski was with us last night. We were talking about almost every subject came up. It's funny how that happens sometimes in the news, that there's like a certain theme for the evening, and it seemed to be murder last night. I don't know why.
It was mostly entertainment-based, like TV shows.
Entertainment murder. Not real murder, but there was a little bit of real murder.
There was one real murder.
Yeah, which was also entertainment based. We talked about Rust last night and Alec Baldwin, and so there was that.
He got his.
Well, he's gonna be charged. Yeah, he's gonna be charged for it now. Yeah. Or he was charged. So they'll go to trial, and there'll be the whole kit and kabam coming up. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we have getting into some news though. So it's time for some breaking news. All right, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's Friday, everybody. I think I do that bigger and bigger every time. I don't know. So we're going to start off here talking about who? Boy Meets World. Ben Savage. Oh, yeah, Ben Savage is in the news, but not for what you think about. You would think that Ben Savage, you think, oh, they're doing some more Girl Meets World because, he did the original show Boy Meets World. They had the reboot about his daughter, him and Topanga's daughter, and it was Girl Meets World. But no, we're not talking about Boy Meets World. We're not talking about Girl Meets World. We're talking about Ben Savage, the man himself. And what's he doing? Well, apparently he's running for Congress. So he gained all this momentum and this fandom back in the 90s for Boy Meets World. But according to the papers today, he filed with the Federal Election Commission to run for Congress as a Democrat, which is very interesting. You would think, what does he know about being in politics? Well, apparently he's actually trying to get into the 30th district seat currently occupied by Representative Adam Schiff, who might be stepping down, a Democrat from Burbank. So Schiff is expected to run for the U.S. Senate, actually, and that's why he's probably going to step down from being representative. So Savage sees this opportunity. He's like, hey, That sounds good. It's time for Boy Meets Congress. That sounds like a great new show, or a reality, I guess it would be. So, and so Savage he actually ran for a seat in West Hollywood before to be on the city council, and he lost. And so I think he's been trying to get into politics. He actually interned with the U.S. Senator Arlene Specter, a Republican from Pennsylvania, back in 2003, which was a requirement for completing his studies in political science in Stanford. So, he went from acting, kind of doing some political science, back to acting with Girl Meets World, but now he wants to venture back into that world. I wish him the best of luck. It's a crazy time in politics to have Boy Meets Congress, but maybe this is something that'll work out. It seems like in politics, a lot of times people have this momentum from TV shows. Look at Ronald Reagan, the fact that, look at Donald Trump, the fact that you're a celebrity like that and you have that notoriety before and people are already on board with you, that maybe you'll get the votes. So, okay, we hear about this. Okay, we got Ben Savage, Boy Meets World. Now, Jake, we'll start with you today. So, you probably know him pretty well from Boy Meets World when we were kids. It's a big hit TV show. They did like 10 seasons. What do you think about Ben Savage running for Congress? Do you think that's smart, or do you think he should stick to TV?
Well, I mean, let's see.
Mm-hmm. Right?
We know he can play a successful character, right? Like, he was good at that job. He went to school for political science, right? So what has he been doing in the meantime? Has he used that degree from that point on? He tried in West Hollywood and didn't get it. Now, just because you don't win a seat doesn't mean you're uneducated. It's an election. It's an elected position. It's not like you automatically get a job when you go to school for political science if you're running for an elected spot. So I don't know enough about what he's like. Where does he stand on issues that are going on?
What do you think about the idea of an actor actually running for political office? Because people go back and forth about this. Like I said before, they're in the public limelight already, so people recognize them, they know them, they have kind of a fan base already, so you would think they'll get the votes. But then there's a lot of people that are like, hey, stay in your lane. Where do you fall? Do you think he should, just stick to being entertainment, or do you think that it's fine that he takes that, that following he has and tries to run for Congress?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for trying. I mean, there's a certain element of stay in your lane, right? But
yeah,
if he is classically trained, and he wants to give it a shot, that's why not? And then, obviously there's going to be a little bit of, he's going to have to prove his merit to a lot of people. He's going to be under a lot more scrutiny for everything he's done.
Yeah.
So if he's ready to take on that burden of being under a microscope, like hardcore under a microscope, then if he's got the Bojangles hanging low enough to do it, go for it.
Well, I think also it's going to be funny because, the thing is, being a public figure like this and 10 seasons of a show plus everything else he's done, they could definitely have a lot of sound bites that he could be saying anything pretty much and use it against him.
He sure could. Well, unless
That's the fun thing about Hollywood.
Unless they can prove that it was the writer and he didn't actually want that line,
Yeah, you never know. It's weird.
Hard for him to separate from that. Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, maybe he'll just do a TV show afterwards called, like I said, Boy Goes to Congress, or Boy Meets Congress, Boy Meets Washington. Sabrina,
Mr. Smith,
you hear about this?
What is it? Yeah.
It could be. What was this character? Corey Matthews, right? Mr. Matthews goes to Washington. Mm-hmm. You never know.
Mr. Matthews.
It kind of sounds like the Jimmy Stewart movie. Mr. Smith goes to Washington.
Only if Feeney's the president.
Sabrina, you hear about this. What do you think? Do you think that this is a smart move, or do you think that, a lot of people say, like, if you're an actor and you're in that kind of, entertainment industry, that you shouldn't run for office. You should keep your politics to yourself and do your acting job. Do you fall in line with that, or do you think this is fine to use his fandom as a way to springboard himself into politics?
I mean, I think you're being a little bit generous with the word fandom. Like, I think there are a ton of people in the world who have no idea who this fucking guy is. Like, honestly, I know of him. I know of the show, but I certainly never watched 1 minute of Boy Meets World in my life.
You probably know his brother really well.
I do. He actually directed me on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's a wonderful person. My point is, I don't think there's enough people, especially older demographic, that really would know him as the actor from Boy Meets World, first of all. Second of all, Burbank, California, that district that he's running for is highly Democratic. Very, very, very Democratic area.
Yeah.
So whoever the chosen Democrat, basically, that is going to run is probably going to win. So if he is, who the Democratic Party is picking to be in that slot, and he's running like kind of unopposed by other Democrats, like if he's the only Democrat on the ticket, he'll probably win. Now, I mean, if for an actor, like let's say someone just decided to go into politics because they felt like it, I mean, the thing is, do they know what they're doing, right? So he went to Stanford, which is a spectacular university. He graduated in 2004 with a poli-sci degree. So I would give him a shot. I would like to know what he stands for, what he wants to do, what he wants to accomplish, like what his goals are. But I'm definitely not opposed to it. And I think that if someone is qualified, I don't care what they did before, they absolutely should have a chance. I mean, we have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert in Congress. Lauren Boebert literally got her GED while she was running for Congress. So I'm sure he is leaps and bounds over many people who are already elected and walking the halls of Congress. So I say go Ben Savage.
Well, that's the thing too. It's at least he's actually studied. That goes a long way. A lot of these people who run can just run off a whim, And
so at least he's actually been pushing towards it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the thing is, for me, it's like, hopefully he does have something he stands for. I would think that as soon as you announce being a public figure like this, and of course you say like, maybe a lot of people don't know Ben Savage. I feel like a lot of people do, but if they, some people, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's definitely people that know who he is, but I would think that by actually filing this, that you would put a statement out along with it. And there's no statement yet from him, but you think you would put something out there too, be like, I'm running because of X, Y, and Z, and he hasn't done that yet. Maybe he'll put something out in the coming days that he's announced. He just registered, that goes, you have to register first, and you can kind of start your campaign and all that. So that makes sense that maybe there's nothing, but for me, being the figure that he is, like, I would think that he would at least put something out the same day. Like, hey guys, boy is going to Washington, or something like that, have fun with it, Like I'm doing, Boy Meets Congress. I think you have fun with it.
I personally would not like any of those antics. I would be like, this guy is a tool. Like it should be completely separate. You know what I mean? It should be completely separate. Don't bring your Nickelodeon show to the halls of like that's ridiculous. Please.
It was TGIF, I think, right?
No, was it?
It was at that
TGIF
time.
was like Alf and like.
Well, no,
Perfect
TGIF.
Strangers.
No, it kept changing. Like Family Matters was TGIF, which was way past Elf.
Oh yeah,
step by step. So there's a lot.
I don't know. I'm old. Boy Meets World means nothing to me. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Go Ben Savage.
I like Boy Meets World. He seems like he's a good guy. I worked on that Girl Meets World one time. I was just like a couple days, and he was really nice. It was really quick. It was like a couple. It's those sitcoms. You're in and you're out so fast. It's
Which
like
channel
you barely
was that on?
That was on Disney. Yes. Yeah. Which is different because
I'm Googling where it was from. Hold on.
I think
keep talking.
Wasn't Boy Meets World Disney too? With Flash
Forward
and all
I
that
thought it was
stuff?
Disney or Nickelodeon.
I think it might have been like Flash Forward and on Disney, yeah.
But Boy Meets World was a huge show. And then, like I said, Girl Meets World, it didn't go as long, of course, but they did it for a couple seasons. And it was a good concept. I guess it makes sense. You have you have the kids come in like they're doing with that 90s show right now. They're trying that to kind of spin off of that 70s show, which a little bit of I watch. I'm kind of like, Red's great. It's just like the couple are great, but like, the new kids, I'm like,
yeah. And Ashton Kutcher's little cameo was also, and Mila Kunis, not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
We'll see.
Also, Brian, you were right. It was on ABC. I don't know if that's TGIF, but it was on originally aired on ABC.
Yeah, I thought it was on one of the bigger ones.
A network. And then, I don't know if it's that or not.
Yeah, but now they moved over to Disney, but we'll see. This is just something small that came up. So what's everybody think about it? Are you excited about Ben Savage running for Congress, or does it not matter to you at all? And you're just like, who's Ben Savage? Let us know. Leave some comments. We're going to move on because we got to keep going. So I'm going to talk about Night Court next. All right. So Night Court came out, and it's, of course, doing very well. It's the reboot of the 1980s sitcom that had like 10 seasons, and right now it has the best ratings from 18 to 49, the demographic for this season, than any other network entertainment show without a lead-in from an NFL program, which is crazy. And it just debuted. There's 2 episodes out, but in case you haven't heard of it, like Night Court stars Big Bang Theory's Melissa Ranch and the original series lead, John,
Roush.
how do you say his name? What? No, John's last name.
Her name is Melissa Roush.
Oh, how do you say his last name? You're muted, so I can't hear you. What'd you say?
John Larroquette.
Yeah, Larroquette. Yeah, Larroquette. And he's great. I started watching it. He's great, but it opened up. So 7.55 million viewers on its series premiere, which is nuts. They've never had some of that. The highest same-day viewership for any NBC comedy since September of 2017, which was, that was Will and Grace. If you go back that far, which is nuts. And it even drew in their second episode, it drew 6.94 million. So it's doing really great. The premiere was also the largest same day for any audience, any comedy on TV this season, topping the 7.45 million viewership for the show Young Sheldon. So if you look at this, it has the ratings, it's doing great. I think we lost Sabrina for a second. It's doing great. And it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, maybe this has some traction. I should check it out. So I watched the first couple episodes just to see what was happening with it. And it's all right. It's all right. You only have John back from the original cast. Of course, the guy who plays the judge has passed away. So the way they work it out is they have it be his daughter now. His daughter's coming to Night Court, and she's trying to take over her dad's footsteps. And then she brings John in because they need a defender. The person quits the first episode. John's living on his couch. He's got a big beard. He's like, he can't deal with life. He gave up Night Court because he lost his wife. It's like a whole thing. So it's all a redemption story. He comes back, and now they're going to work together to save the Night Court, or, he's going to be there. So it's all right. It's fun, but these viewership numbers are insane. Sabrina, you hear about this. What do you think? Are you surprised that Night Court is doing so great? And do you think it's going to fizzle out?
I hope that it just gets better. You know what I mean? The first episode, they had 7.39 million viewers. And then the second episode, which was right after, it was 6.75 million viewers. So it was only an 8% drop, which is pretty good. So that means that most people stuck around to watch the second episode. And then whatever came on after that, I can't remember what it was a huge drop. It was only maybe 3 million people watching it. So yeah. A lot of people changed the channel after Night Court was over. So I think that's a very good sign. I think a lot of people tuned in because the original Night Court was so awesome. And, a lot of people really, really love that show, myself included. So I think a lot of people were curious to see what it was about, Yeah. But if you think about it, the original series also, it took at least a solid season before it became the well-oiled machine that it was for those middle years, and the only thing I would say about this, that's they just need to find their groove with each other, and I'm hoping that by the end of the season they will have that. The original one was very set in its time. The jokes were very of its time. It was 1986. So John Larroquette was a skirt chasing, grumpy dude that was always pushing the boundaries of what's legal, really, with all of that crazy skirt chasing stuff. And so I feel you could never ever run any of those jokes now. So they made him be a married or a widowed man who is lost all the love in his life, and he's just a curmudgeon now. So I feel it's a totally different character for him, but he is such an amazing actor. It doesn't really matter. The only thing I'd like to see more of is the defendants, because the original Night Court, that's what it was. What crazy person is going to be in that courtroom being arraigned? You know what I mean? And this centers more on them as opposed to more in the actual courtroom. And so I hope that shifts a little bit.
Yeah, and the second episode, it seems like they might start be pushing that, because they're saying, hey, you got to get to know these people, you got to feel their emotions, and you got to relate to them, and you have to kind of have that humanity attached to them. And he's like, I don't like, why would I do that? The joke was funny. He's like, why would I do that? They're all guilty. So he's got to change his idea, like that he's, now you're a different side. You're not just saying these people are guilty. You got to find ways to get them off. And so hopefully they have some great characters come along. They had like the first couple episodes, they had a streaker, and she says, I want to see everything. And he like opens his jacket and he flashes himself to her. And that was one of the funnier moments, I think, in like that episode, because John like puts like a folder out to cover him. And then the bottom half falls over again to cover his private parts. It's pretty good. Jake, you hear about this. Do you know about the original Night Court? And do you think this is a good idea for a new series?
I have not watched the original Night Court. I did not watch the new one. I did see some advertising for it, I think, some little quick clips that it's happening. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, that's the girl from Big Bang Theory, right? Who plays the judge.
Melissa Rauch.
Sure. Okay. So, and the little bit that I saw did not pique my interest, to be quite honest with you. I was just like, oh, slapstick.
It's very slapstick. It's very slapstick.
So I can do that to a certain point, but it's not necessarily what I seek out. So I might not be a good judge of whether it's going to work or not. So, but I think, like Sabrina was saying, the 8% drop from the first to the second episode means people left it on,
Mm-hmm. It's not that big
who
of a
knows
drop.
and so, I mean, either people watched the first episode and then they left the TV on while they went and finished cleaning the dishes, or, got the kids to bed and the TV was just still running, and then lights out after that, right? So it's hard to say. Like GR said, time will tell. You have to see what the next one does. And do you know what was playing prior to the premiere? What did it follow?
Oh,
I know it wasn't football.
Yeah, it wasn't football, which is what the biggest thing.
It wasn't football. So people tuned in specifically to watch that.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying.
Depending on what it followed, right? Depending on, okay. So
prime time position.
I was a year old, GR.
When it came out.
Yeah.
The OG one, I should say.
Yeah, yes, the original one. I was not born yesterday. Well, yes, maybe I was.
Well, in a way.
But yeah, I don't know. In a way, yeah, reborn every day, I guess. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah. I might check it out. Where can I go watch it? On like.
It's on Peacock right now, so you can watch it on Peacock if you have the Peacock. They haven't released anything beyond that, but it's easy if you do have Peacock. They have the first two up, and of course, we'll see what happens when the next episode comes out, and we'll see if it keeps that kind of momentum. I mean, we'll see. You never know, but it's one of those things where it's you're pulling off the old series, so you have maybe a built-in audience that still wants to see it. Maybe an older generation. I'm surprised to 49 is the graphic. I would think they'd be a little bit older, 18 to 49. Sure. They were saying, but I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. Maybe it'll keep going, and maybe it'll go, 10 more seasons. You never know. What do you guys think about Night Court? Leave some comments. Let us know. We're going to move on to our next subject right now. We're going to talk about, we were talking about the Batman before. Well, now we're going to talk about what's coming off of the Batman. So they're saying that they are still doing the Penguin series. Colin Farrell's attached, and it's moving forward. And there's actually some progress happening. There's not much, but we have a little bit of news about what's happening with this. So they're saying right now that the plot of the series is going to focus on Oswald Cobblepot, which is played by Colin Farrell, as he rises the ranks of Gotham's underworld. Yeah, so he becomes a power player, they're saying, and it will take place in the aftermath of the Batman. So apparently Gotham is still flooded, and it's going to take place like right afterwards. And Colin Farrell's like really excited about it. But, the whole thing is he's supposed to be a hustler and a strategist. That's the word. And the story will be told over 8 episodes. Strategery. They'll be told over 8 episodes to tell like a longer character arc. That's what they're talking about when the show's coming out. And it's very much going to be an ongoing thing that they're going to kind of showcase the street level criminals. It's not going to be like Batman's flying through the skies. It's more about the grittiness of Gotham. And it's about Oswald's becoming the Penguin, as opposed to, and if you saw the Batman, he was still kind of just like, figuring things out. He's working in the club. He's working for Falcone. So he's still not quite there. The one casting that they said besides Colin Farrell is they're going to bring in Sophie Falcone. So they're going to bring in the daughter of Carmone Falcone, who was played by, what was it? John Turturro. John Turturro, yeah. So they're going to bring her in, and they're going to be going back and forth. So there'll be a little bit of dynamic there. And apparently she's going to be trying to fight with the Penguin. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this. Colin Farrell actually had a comment he said about this when he was interviewed about the progress of the Penguin. And here's what he kind of had to say about the topic.
The Penguin starts about a week after the film Batman ends, so Gotham is still somewhat underwater. I read the first script for the first episode, and it opens up with my feet splashing through the water in Falcone's office. Even just that alone. I read it. I was like, oh, geez, it's lovely. It's so well written. It'll be, I think, 6 or 8 hours.
Yeah, and Colin Farrell, he was awesome. He was just amazing. Just so good in the original and the Batman movie. But what they're saying right now is this is coming out 2023, 2024-ish. They're like, it's coming out sometime late 2023 or it might be early 2024. And of course, it's going to be one of those things that'll be direct to HBO Max. And it's supposed to lead into the Batman 2, as long as that, they're saying it's still happening. It's all going to be going forward. As long as that goes forward, it's going to lead into that. So it's pretty cool. I liked his performance a lot. I'm excited to see what they can do on a longer form for him, to actually have him play out like what it's like to be the Penguin, getting into that character more. What they did with the special effects makeup for him was fucking phenomenal. Now I know, Jake, we talked before, you didn't see the Batman, but did you see the pictures of Colin Farrell? And you see what kind of actor he is. So what do you think about him getting his own spinoff and having his own series set in the Batman world?
I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I trust your judgment when it comes to shows and what I should watch. So if you say it's good, I'm like, copy that. And so I have to pick. Maybe I'll watch Batman tomorrow or this evening after we're done. I don't know. I have
3 hours, man. 3 hours.
Well, I'm not watching it tonight then. Let's see. But it's good. And you said it starts like weeks after the film ends, technically.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a week after the film.
A week.
Yeah, moments. But he would say, Colin Farrell said a week, but they were like moments. They're saying the city's still gonna be flooded, like he's gonna be treading through water, because the end of the Batman, they flood and they blow up the dam pretty much, and they flood Gotham. So Gotham's halfway underwater. So they're gonna pick up right there and show the Penguin's story continuing forward, which would be fun, I think. And Colin Farrell's like one of the best parts of that movie. So honestly,
the best part of that movie.
It makes sense. And they were going to do another spinoff about like just the cops, kind of like they did with that show Gotham, but then they canceled that too. So that's not happening. But that was also going to take place with that, but showcasing the actual police in Gotham. Not happening now.
Gotcha.
So, but I think this is better. I think it's going to be great.
So
Sabrina,
yeah. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what made his character so good? Was he a protagonist or an antagonist in the film?
He's an antagonist for sure. Yeah.
Antagonist? Okay.
Yeah.
So is he going to have the same amount of is there going to be as much of the other side pushing back against him throughout the whole series so that his character remains as good as it was?
Well, it sounds like it's going to be him kind of taking over the crime scene, So you're going to still have
fighting
to
take over. Fighting to take over the crime scene. So it's all antagonists.
So I feel like he will be a little bit of heroic in this too, in a way, because you still want him they're going to have to kind of make somebody the hero, right? So it seems like you're going to be, and he is likable. He's funny in the movie. He's super funny. He just has this, like, his way he talks, his mannerisms, the way he carries himself, the makeup, it doesn't even look like him. It's really great how he embodies this character and makes it his own. If you watch it, you'll see what I mean. Sabrina, you hear about this. Are you excited about this? And do you think it's a good idea to make him the lead in a series when he is the villain?
I mean, because it was his performance was so good, I see why they would do that. It's a little bit weird to basically watch a show that's pretty much based on, it's just the villains, you know what I mean? But like I kind of liken it to that Harley Quinn series, which is, all villains, and it's very entertaining and really funny. So I feel like it could be awesome, and I don't need Batman to be a part of it, like, for them to figure out who's going to be, the biggest villain. And of course you will root for Colin Farrell. The show's called The Penguin. You're not going to root for the girl. So, I mean, like you were saying, Jake, like that does kind of make him the protagonist of the series, but like in the grand scheme of Gotham, he's still a villain, however, like I'm just questioning, like, this is keeping the Matt Reeves Batman universe going.
It is.
So it's weird that they're doing that, if there may not be a second film, because this is supposed to bridge the gap between 1 and 2. So, I mean, if James Gunn is greenlighting another movie, with the same cast and situation, basically, like, I don't know. It's just, that's the only question mark for me. Because if they're going to not go forward with that, as a lot of people were thinking, as we were thinking, like, because of the change of the guard at Warner Brothers, I just don't know what that means. But I would watch it because he was, to me, the most entertaining part of the film. I liked him the best. Every time he was on screen, I was thrilled. When he was not on screen, I was bored. So
yeah, and James Gunn hasn't made any kind of statement about this yet at all. Right. He hasn't said anything. I mean, there's been reports from Matt Reeves saying, "Oh yeah, everything's great," but until you hear it from James Gunn, I don't believe all the people in the trades are out there saying, "Oh yeah, it's happening." I'm like, well, they said it was happening before James Gunn took over, and they're like, well, they're going to coordinate soon. We talked about that before. Yes, they haven't coordinated yet. They haven't had a meeting. Every meeting James Gunn's had has been firing people pretty much. So it makes me wonder what will happen with this. And the fact that it's moving forward, it's supposed to start shooting. It's going to be shooting in England, actually. They're going to start shooting over the summer. And so it's like, okay, well, everything's moving forward. So as long as everything's good with him, I don't know. You could still have this and not have the Batman too. But the question still will be like, who's Batman? And if James Gunn is trying to make one kind of world, like, you need to have a Batman. You can't have two Batman. I think people have been confused about that. We talked about that before. Maybe they'll still do that. I don't know. It's only a matter of time that we'll find out. And the fact that, I mean, you have Pattinson. Do you think he's going to go do a TV show on HBO Max? I don't think so. He doesn't seem like he would do that. I think they can barely get him to sign on for a Batman too. It seems to me, it seems like I think he was good. He was brooding. He was, he was what he was. I think they could get somebody better. I think they could, and get somebody committed to it, and get somebody that wants to be Batman across the board. There's so many hungry actors out there that will take that job and be like, yeah, I'll do the TV show, I'll do the movie, I'll do any kind of spinoff, I'll do that. That's what they should get. And if I were James Gunn, that's what I would do. I would be like, this is great and all, it's a great universe, but we need somebody that's committed to the character and not just committed to the paycheck. And that's just what they need. Because any day that person's going to quit, or he's going to screw something up on set like he did before. The Batman was delayed multiple times, and they said it's because he had COVID and they shut it down. But there's a lot of rumors out there that are beyond that about his attitude on set, and ain't nobody got time for that. So that's all I can say. So it's coming. We'll see. We just wanted to update you about it. I'm excited about it if it all connects and it works well. But again, we don't know until James Gunn, the man, the myth, the legend, the DC head, says something. So we'll see. I don't know, guys. I really don't know, but it looks interesting. It's
cool. I think as I'm thinking about it now, like, Batman and Gotham and the people who are trying to save it, right, are always going to be there. Like, we always know that they exist out there somewhere. So if you went full into the criminal element of Gotham, and you see all these things playing out and going on, that Batman's still out there, and at some point he's going to get in their way. So depending on how far you stretch that out, it could work. You can't go too long without bringing it in and knocking it down a little bit. But
I think the idea is that Batman would come back in the movie. Like, this is the in between the two movies. So then you get fleshed out of what's going on with the villains, and then Batman 2 would start, and then Batman would come into the fold. Like, it would be,
because it always starts with a crisis that needs to be fixed, and this is how that got to that.
That could be the whole. Yeah, it could be the whole buildup, which would be really cool.
That's the idea.
Yeah. Now, if you had Pattinson that was on board and he came in for the last episode or something like that, right? And then that set it up to connect to the movie, that would make sense. And you could shoot that if you started shooting the Batman the same time that was shooting. You could shoot a scene, during that, and just cut it into the TV show and not have to worry about it. And of course, he's gonna have to get paid for that, but that might be a way of getting, I'm gonna keep calling him Pattinson back, to do it. And then that might get him to do it without having to be like, it's a whole different deal. Now you're just getting a paycheck, 2 paychecks for 1 day's work, which is great for anybody. I mean, I would think that he wouldn't turn that down.
It's just confusing. Like if they're not, it's the only thing is like if they're not going to continue with this universe, like it's weird. The fact that they haven't started filming yet and they're still going to film makes me think that there might be a chance for a Batman 2, or otherwise, why would they even be going into this? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just, that's my only question. I think the rest of it is, I think tying it together, if that's what they're going to do, is all well and good. It's just a question of whether Batman 2 is actually going to happen or not in Matt Reeves' universe, I
just think if he's gonna shut this ship down, he's got to do it soon, because it's gonna start moving too far, and that's why that meeting's supposed to be coming soon, and we'll keep you updated when there is more news about the Batman 2 and Penguin, because we're gonna find out. I still think hire somebody else and have them go across the board for me. Anyways, what do you think about it? Let us know. We got to move on. We got lots to talk about, as always, here on Kruse Control. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Cobra Kai. Hiya! Cobra Kai next. So,
oh my God.
What, can you do that one more time, Jake? What was that?
What?
Can you do that one more time? Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about Cobra Kai a little bit. So Cobra Kai, the final season is coming. They're going to start shooting later this year. This is the final season. Once 5 came out, they said we're going to be done with it. They're calling it the final run, which promises to be what they say the biggest and the baddest season of all time. And it's going to start production, like I said, in the spring. So we'll see how it goes. And in case you haven't seen Cobra Kai or you never heard of it, it's just a continuation of The Karate Kid. They've done 5 seasons to start off on YouTube. When YouTube was doing their own original content, it was bought up by Netflix, and they've continued it. It takes place in the same universe. It's almost 30 years after the original Karate Kid. You got Johnny Lawrence, and you got Daniel LaRusso, and they're back at it, going against each other, except they have their own dojos, and throughout the 5 seasons, they end up having Kruse come in. He was the original Cobra Kai guy, and you have Silver come in. He also worked Cobra Kai. They take over Cobra Kai, and so now what you have is LaRusso and Lawrence teaming up to fight the bad guys at Cobra Kai. Who will win? So this last season is supposed to be the big battle to find out if they can stop Cobra Kai from ruining the youth of America. We'll see what happens. So I'm excited about this. I heard about this before. I've watched all of it. It's pretty cool, if you ask me. And one of the creators actually had a little comment about this. So here's what they said about the ending of Cobra Kai. Sabrina, you're muted. So I'll just read it unless Sabrina's got this.
Sorry. Our day one goal with Cobra Kai has always been to end it on our terms, leaving the valley in the time and place that we've always imagined. So it's with immense pride and thankfulness that we are able to announce that achievement. The upcoming season 6 will mark the conclusion of Cobra Kai. In the meantime, strap in for the biggest season of Cobra Kai yet, and let today be a celebration of all that's come, as well as all that's still left to be told. We couldn't do it without you. We made it. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Cobra Kai never dies.
Cobra Kai! Oh. Yeah, and it was great because the way it started, like you had Johnny Lawrence come in and he's like, I'm going to bring Cobra Kai back. And it's supposed to be like this big threat. And then it ends up being that he has more in common with LaRusso than he thought he did. And they have to kind of team up, which is, it's kind of fun. And it really makes you care about Johnny's character, which before he was just an asshole in the original movies. And it keeps tying people in. Throughout 5 seasons they brought people from all the movies, all 3 of the movies. And even the last Karate Kid, like people hated, and they still brought the villain in there. And he is fucking awesome. Let me just say he is great on the show. Okay, I'm going to start with Sabrina. She's seen me watching this. She doesn't. I don't know if she really watched a lot of it. What do you think about Cobra Kai? And do you think enough is enough, Sabrina? Or do you think this is great that they've been able to have this big hit and bring these 80s stars back to television?
I mean, I don't know. I watched like a little bit in the beginning and I was like, this is so stupid. And then I stopped watching it. And then like it was on the very last season. And they were like kind of like teaming up together, and like the bad guy was doing some really shady shit. And then
Silver.
like at the end, something super extra shady happened. And I think Brian had fallen asleep on the couch, and he woke up, and I was like, "Yo, that guy did this, and that happened, and then this happened, and then I was like, oh my god, did I just like
what?
actually like what I saw? Like I wasn't. It was very confusing for me emotionally because I was like, this is super dumb. So I guess like, and I know people really like it, and so I think it's cool that they're ending it the way that they want to end it instead of getting canceled and then have it. I hate when shows get canceled and you don't get closure. You know what I mean? So I'm really glad that they're doing it the way that they want to do it. I appreciate that. And I hope it is, as good as it has been for everyone who likes it. I'm inclined to maybe, I don't think I'm going to go back and watch any of the other shit. Like I think that one episode was enough for me to be caught up, and I might watch the new season. I don't know. It's still question mark.
Honestly, when I first started watching it, the first season is very tough. I actually tried watching it on YouTube when it was YouTube Live, or it was their YouTube channel they were making, and it does get better progressively as the season goes along. But once Netflix picked it up, the show completely changed. It really got better.
I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. It's too much.
Yeah, the writing was better. The characters they're bringing in, and of course, the whole first season they're establishing this new generation of Cobra Kai, and these kids are training under Johnny, and it's like. And you start to see the rift of like how they become different people, and they become kind of evil, and they start hating themselves, and their family have problems with their families. And so you get to see them kind of have to get some redemption and all that. So it's great the way they do that. They need to have that. But once Netflix they really started running, and it really became a really great show. And it takes place here in the Valley. It's awesome. I love it. Jake, are you a fan of the original Karate Kid? And have you seen this at all? And does hearing about this, does it perk your interest for another season?
Sure. I watched the original Karate Kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as following up with anything else, no. I don't think I watched the second one. I don't remember if I did. I may have, and lost.
Oh yeah.
It was a long time ago.
But, yeah, and so I don't know. I'll check it out and see what's going on. So,
yeah. It could be great. I mean, the new season. Is it what?
I just want to make sure, like, I got this correct. It's Mr. Miyagi, right?
Yeah.
In the first one?
Too bad he passed away. But the show does have a lot of flashbacks where they incorporate him in, and they change and they make it black and white and stuff. So there's always these moments where Daniel's son, he's thinking about something, and then it goes back to Mr. Miyagi. And it's one of the best parts about it is he works at a used car dealership, and every time he sells a car, he gives him a little bonsai tree, and
nice.
he's like, we're slashing the competition. And he's like, ha, 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 that shit's funny. Yeah. They have good fun with it, and he opens up Miyagi-Do, and he makes his own dojo. He brings it back. There's a lot of fun stuff with it. And like I said, the flashbacks are just great. It's just fun entertainment, and you gotta just turn your brain off, because I mean it's not amazing writing, but it's fun. It's just fun, and it really is nostalgic too. So if you like the original, it's good, and it brings karate into a whole new world. There's no shows about karate like this. There really isn't.
Not really.
And there's drama. There's backstory. There's competitive teams. There's a competition. They go to these big fights, tournaments at the end of the seasons. So it's really fun and really well done. So I don't know. I think that if you're a fan, you're probably excited about season 6, but you're probably also a little disappointed that it's going to be done, because I was that same boat. As soon as I got through season 1, when I watched season 2, all of a sudden I was hooked. And it wasn't even like I needed to watch every minute of it, but I always had it on. I wanted to know what was happening. It was one of those shows where you can't turn it off because you're interested to see where the story's going. So sure. Karate Kid, guys, it's not going anywhere yet. One more season.
I'm going to have to check it out. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
Apparently Cobra Kai never dies, so
wasn't the Cobra Kai guy in a commercial for something?
He might have been.
Who's the dude? Who's like the karate guy who's been doing Cobra Kai for? You
mean Johnny Lawrence, the bad guy, or the bad guy, or Kruse, John Kruse?
The bad guy.
Probably, yeah, John Kruse probably, or it could have been Terry Silver, but John Kruse is really the main bad guy, and then Silver came in Karate Kid.
Had like
3
curly blonde hair or something.
Oh yeah,
and a red bandana.
Oh, you're talking about Johnny Lawrence. Yeah, he was the original bad guy, but he becomes the anti-hero in this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there was something about he was on a couple of commercials that I saw on TV that he was talking about doing something, and he was in somewhere talking about slashing prices for stuff, and I was like, wow, he's trying to even out his bills, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah,
That
you
was
should check it out.
extremely
It's fun.
specific, Jake. Very specific. He was somewhere doing something on
With
some
someone.
commercial, slashing prices.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. I don't know what was happening. He said something about Cobra Kai never dies, and he was really intense, and I didn't buy whatever he was selling.
I mean, you haven't bought it yet, but you're still talking about it, so maybe in the back of your head it's still there and you might actually buy it eventually.
Probably had something to do with AARP. I don't know.
AARP.
I don't think you slash prices for AARP. Just saying.
Not yet.
Well,
no.
But at least Cobra Kai never dies, and that's what they say. So it's pretty good. But I don't know. It's going to be fun. Season 6 is coming. They're about to start shooting. So they just made this announcement. They had a whole thing with fandom once the season 5 came out, but now they're talking about it a little bit more. Again, this is it. They're going off in their own terms, which is great. So hopefully the show just keeps going. Well, it's not going to keep going. What am I saying? Hopefully it ends on a high point. That's what I'm hoping for. But what do you think about this? Let us know. Leave some comments. So we're going to move on because we got a couple more things to talk about. Running out of time. So we're going to probably go through this one pretty fast. But I want to talk about Venom 3. Just a quick update on Venom 3. Now, if you're a fan of Venom 3 or Venom the series, they're apparently going to do one more. They said back in April of 2022 that it's happening. It's moving forward. Tom Hardy's coming back. This will be his last one, they're saying, though, in this trilogy. Sony's like, we're going to do one more, and then it's going to be done. Of course, if you watched... Yeah, the big question for everybody, if you watched No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, you know that Venom was in there. Tom Hardy's Venom came into the MCU, but then left back to the Sonyverse. So everybody's wondering, what's this going to mean? If he's back in the Sonyverse, who's Spider-Man? Because originally we thought, well, it's going to be, our MCU Spider-Man. It's going to be Tom Holland. But now that it's going back to the Sonyverse, there's rumors Andrew Garfield's coming back. That's the biggest thing, that Andrew Garfield might be a Spider-Man. Only time will tell with that, but they're going to start shooting again over the summer, and they're not really saying much about it, but that's going to be shooting also in England, which I think is kind of nuts. I guess that's the spot to be. And I would think this would be shooting in San Francisco because that's where it takes place, but they're going to go to England apparently and shoot it. And I bet there'll be reshoots in San Francisco. They'll probably do reshoots in LA. I bet Michelle Williams will come back. That's the one person they haven't announced anybody for cast. But, we're going to see what happens with this. There's not much updates. It's happening. It's moving forward. The writer actually is going to be directing this one. The writer of the first two is taking over the helms of director, which is interesting because Andy Serkis was doing it for the last one, which I thought was great because they're doing all these visual effects. You got Gollum. He knows about this world. I thought that would be great that he was directing. That movie didn't do as well. It still made a lot of money, but they're changing directors again.
Second one?
The second one, Andy Serkis did the second one, yeah.
I like the second one better than the first one.
Yeah, I think it was better too. And you had Woody Harrelson was Carnage. He did a great job. Nice. But of course, if you saw it, they killed him off. But this is also multiverse shit, so he could come back. Somehow he was awesome.
I think they said the villain's gonna be Toxin, which is like he was born from Carnage. He's like a piece of that symbiote. So it'll be a similar character, but a different person playing him, I think.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. I think it could be cool, but I still think they should just do. Honestly, if it were me, I think it's just time for Venom and Spider-Man. Everybody wants it. Why don't we just bring Spider-Man into this bitch? And give us a Tom Hardy and a Spider-Man.
The description on IMDb says Eddie Brock tries to find Spider-Man when Venom is attacked by Toxin. So I think that's like a side thing, and so there'll probably be something going on with that, but I think Spider-Man will show up, and I would be super psyched if it was Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I loved him as Spider-Man. Yeah,
he's freaking phenomenal. And I think this is the time for him. If you're going to bring him in, this is definitely the time. Like, bring him in. He's excited to be back. If you saw No Way Home, he was like one of the best parts of that too. His performance was amazing. You could tell how much it meant to him to come back. Like, bring him in. He was their Sony guy. He's young enough still. Make him Spider-Man. It'll be fun. People would love it. Jake, are you excited about Venom 3? Did you watch the first two? And if you did, or even if you didn't, would you be excited about Andrew Garfield coming in as Spider-Man?
You might have to tell me who Andrew Garfield is.
Oh no! Well, Andrew Garfield did. Oh no!
Wah, wah.
Andrew Garfield did the Amazing Spider-Man. So you had Tobey Maguire did Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah,
and then Andrew
that
Garfield
one.
came in for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and 3, or 1 and 2. I mean 1 and 2, and then they got
And Emma
and they got
Stone. Emma
Yeah,
Stone
Emma
was the love interest in that. You don't know who she is either, do you?
you know Emma Stone.
I think I know who she is.
Yeah, you know Emma Stone.
I think so.
But yeah, so he was the second one, the
It's
second
possible.
iteration of Spider-Man, and then when they rebooted it, they brought Tom Holland in. But did you see No Way Home? You didn't see No Way Home, did you? See, I may have spoiled that for you. So No Way Home, you get Andrew Garfield comes in as Spider-Man again because it's multiverse shit, and then you also have Tobey Maguire comes in as Spider-Man as well, and you have all the three
You guys
Spider-Man.
were telling me about this that I failed. I
failed.
was supposed to watch that.
Wait,
Yeah.
I have a question. Jake,
Yeah.
did you not go see Doctor Strange at the Man's Chinese Theater when you were in LA visiting with us? Did you not?
Yeah. I was
okay,
there.
so how would you want to see Doctor Strange and you've seen zero Spider-Man and Batman? I don't understand.
She's calling you out, Jake. Calling you out.
I don't have a good answer for that. It's not
Sabrina,
that I don't want to watch it.
It was a cinematic experience.
We went to the movie theater to watch Doctor Strange.
I know.
And you haven't seen Spider-Man. That's insane to me.
I think
like if there's a superhero movie that you wouldn't watch, I would be like, I mean, Doctor Strange is kind of like off-brand. Like Spider-Man has been around forever. I mean, not that Doctor Strange hasn't, but like they just made the first movie like Spider-Man's been around since the dawn of time. Batman's has been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like your priorities are messed up when it comes to comic book stuff, Jake. Come on, man.
I think you're probably right. And I think, you know what? I think it was, I watched all of the, was it when Disney Plus first kind of started, right? We got it. And I watched all of the Marvel stuff in chronological order up to a certain point. Yeah. So I think it ended with Endgame, I think, is where I stopped.
Well, that's the thing is the Spider-Man Sony. Like they did a little bleeding with Tom Holland, but like the previous stuff was Sony.
Yeah. And I think
this train's
as
still
I was
moving.
alluding to, well, like remember when we were talking about the Batman stuff, and I said there's different people play these things, and it's always a different like iteration of the character, right? And the whole universe that's going on. And I think when Tobey Maguire stopped being Spider-Man is when I stopped watching. Not that I'm a huge Tobey Maguire fan, but it just threw it off that he wasn't going to be it anymore. You know, I was like, oh, so. And somebody at one point might have told me that they just kind of started the whole story over again with a different person. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. And that was the Andrew Garfield series. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that might have been where I just kind of stopped checking it out, you know, because I was like, why am I going to watch the same story again with just different people or somebody else's opinion of the comic? So that's why. I'm pretty sure that's why.
Does
that make sense?
Check it out.
Is that even real?
It's a different story. It's a different part of the story, but I mean, it's the same sort of beginnings. Because how do you become Spider-Man? Like that's got to be the same. But it's
you got to get bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a different story, though.
But
also,
the thing is,
go ahead.
What's the? I
didn't watch it either. I didn't watch the Andrew Garfield one until like a year ago or 2 years ago.
I made her watch it.
Okay, so I'm vindicated like a little bit at least.
A little bit.
Right.
But they're a lot of fun and they're worth a check out if you have time at some point.
He's my favorite now. He's so
he's
good.
a great Spider-Man. He's so good.
He really is. He's
the timing
really good.
is right and everything.
He's just really funny and like
he's more snarky.
He's natural with it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I really, really liked him. I like Tom Holland too, but I really, really like Andrew Garfield.
But anyways, we gotta move on. I wish we could talk about this more, but Venom 3 is coming. It's gonna be, you know, they're hoping for a fall release. That's the idea, but they might push to a summer release now because summer movies are great for these Marvel movies. But they've been doing October for the first two, so they might go back into that time slot. They're still working it out. I would hope for a summer release. I think it's always better. And also, if you bring Andrew Garfield and a Spider-Man, bring that shit out in summer, make that fucking money. and make it happen. What do you think about this? It's time for our featured story of the night. All right, everybody, we're not leaving a lot of time for our featured story of the night. But again, this is just something. We might go a couple minutes over, maybe a couple minutes, but not much, because we really can't do that. It's just how it goes here on Kruse Control. Sometimes we get talking and all that. But I want to talk about Tron. So I'm a big fan of Tron. I love the original. Came out in like 82 or 83. I think it came out in 83. And then the 2010 one, I know a lot of people shit on that movie, but I really like that. Daft Punk doing the score, Jeff Bridges coming back. Like, Jeff Bridges is awesome. He kind of played the dude a little bit. He was kind of the dude from Big Lebowski, but I was fine with it. I can't go wrong with Jeff Bridges. But now they finally announced they're bringing out Tron 3. It's called Tron 3 Ares. And Disney's doing it. They've been talking about it for years. In 2017, they signed on Jared Leto to play in this movie. And he was in to the 2010 version, a small part. Or I think he was supposed to be, and they didn't know. He was supposed to be, it didn't happen. So now he's coming in. They're saying he's going to be playing Ares. We'll see. It's going to start crewing up now, and they're hoping to start shooting in Vancouver in August. So that's kind of the hope. The script is considered to be the sequel to Tron Legacy, so it's not starting over. It's supposed to continue on from Legacy, which I think is a good thing. Don't start over. The Legacy continued off of the original. This will continue off of that, and it's going to be directed by a new director. He did like a bunch of the Pirates movies. He's done a bunch of shit. But John Krasinski's not coming back. I was hoping he would come back. He did Top Gun Maverick. He was supposed to do a sequel to the 2010 version. Didn't happen. Krasinski is awesome. He's a great director, but it's not happening. But Leto signed on.
Krasinski?
No, Joe Krasinski. Did I say John? Joe Krasinski.
Yeah,
okay. Joe Krasinski. I always say that because their names for some reason are too close for me to fathom in my brain. But Joe Krasinski, he's awesome. He's a great director. Did Oblivion. He did Top Gun Maverick. He's been working for years in Hollywood. He's awesome. But the sequel the sequel's coming 13 years later. So it's kind of nuts. But this is happening. Ares, Tron Legacy's sequel. And I'm excited. They announced it yesterday. And I like Jared Leto. He can be a little campy sometimes, but I think he's got a good energy that could bring to this show. Hopefully Jeff Bridges comes back. We'll see the way they left off Tron Legacy. I mean, it's been 13 years, so I can talk spoilers. He pretty much died in the grid. That's what they're saying. His son gets out with one of the actual programs, now living in the real world. And their whole story is hopefully going to continue forward. I'm guessing Jared Leto is going to come out of the grid and go into the world, and it'll be this whole thing. Let's go to Sabrina. Sabrina, were you a fan of Tron at all? And what do you think about a sequel 13 years later? Is it a smart thing? You care less? What about Jared Leto being it? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I love Jared Leto. I'll watch anything that he does, but I mean, this is really a stretch for me. I think he's one of the best actors of his generation. Honestly, he's method, which irritates some people, and I totally understand that, like being on set or whatever. But as someone watching his movies, I mean, he's a spectacular actor. His performances are always different. There's a lot of actors that are just playing themselves all the time. You know what I mean? That are very successful. Like he
happens
is
a lot.
Chameleon. He can do anything. I give him props. He's a spectacular actor. I mean, Tron is really not for me, honestly.
I'm so excited.
I'm sure you are. It's just I don't know, because Jared Leto's
I've been screaming for another one.
I really highly doubt it. Honestly, it's not my cup of tea. But also, you said maybe he was going to start it. He's also producing it, so I'm sure if it gets made, he will be in it.
Yeah. Oh no, he's been trying to be a part of it since 2017. He's been trying to do it, and it just hasn't worked out. Disney keeps saying no. They almost did it in 2020. Didn't happen again. But that was back when Joe Krasinski was supposed to actually. 2020, everything stopped. And so Joe was supposed to be attached. There was also another person that was supposed to be attached directing. That fell through. So it's been a thing for 13 years. I've been trying to make it happen. Actually, I think Joe was 2014 when he fell out. Another director was 2020. Jake, did you see the original Tron? Did you see Tron Legacy? Are you excited about this all? Or you were like, man, what the hell? Who cares?
Didn't watch the first
any
one.
of the Trons. I'm alone here. I'm alone.
No, yeah, you are. Now, you mentioned, what is it? Explain it to me. So there's a game, right? And they get stuck in this game grid thing.
Well, it's like a computer program. So what happens is in the original, Jeff Bridges is got this. He's like, I've cracked this code. I've got this world where we can like live and we can create, you know, we don't have to die. It's like a whole thing. It's like you can upload yourself to this grid and you can live forever. And it might be like this whole big technological advancement. And then he gets stuck. He gets stuck in the grid. He gets stuck in Tron. And so then he has to get out in the original one. And the sequel, he's still there. He's stuck in there. And his kid has to go get him out. And
I thought he wants to be in there so he could live forever. What do you mean he's stuck? Isn't that the whole purpose of it?
But he didn't finish his research. He's going back and forth and he got stuck. He had a whole plan and he got stuck in the grid. So, and then he just left his kid one day and he was like, I'm coming back, and he was going to show his kid. It was this whole thing, this whole advancement. It was supposed to help society.
I saw that. It was stupid.
Yeah. And then, you know, he couldn't get out. And so there's some cool moments. The music, if you listen, especially the music in the second one, Daft Punk kills it. The music, amazing.
Yeah.
One of the best scores, I think, for a movie ever. It's just perfect for the film. And Jeff Bridges plays two characters in that because he clones himself and he makes a character named Clue. And that's like him as a computer program that's actually supposed to be running the grid and running everything. And that character goes evil. And so Jeff Bridges plays the older version of himself, who's a person stuck in the program. And he also plays the younger computer version of himself, who they actually de-aged Jeff Bridges to make him that character in Tron Legacy. For me, it's a lot of fun. I'm excited to see where they go with it. But
what
again,
you just said made it much less interesting and more stupid, just so you know.
Oh, come on.
Now that made me more curious because it made it less like a stupid version of the Matrix for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's different from the Matrix. It kind of like, I bet the Matrix got some inspiration from Tron, but there's a lot of stuff that's really, the visuals are always, in the 80s, that was the thing about the 80s. The 80s had this great visual effects for the first Tron. I mean, now going back, it's not the same, but it really changed how they'd make movies back then. You just didn't make movies like that. So it really advanced computer graphics. It really led the way, if you will, for a lot of these CG effects that we put into movies nowadays that we just know so well. And so when the second one came out, they upped it up. It looks even fucking better. And so I'm excited to see where I've been waiting for this. I know a lot of people hate on this second one. Like Sabrina is right now. People hate on it. Everybody online hates on it. Don't hate on Tron Legacy. I love it. I've watched it like a million times. Nice. It's probably one of my guilty pleasures, I guess, you know. But the music also, I've listened to that score so many times. But it's coming, Jake. You need to watch it. Sabrina, you got to give it a break.
Out. Yeah.
Give it a break. Give it a break. Come on. There's got to be, is there anybody in the comments that likes Tron Legacy? There's got to be somebody with me.
Nope. GR is also with us. Thank you, GR.
He said it was okay. He didn't say it was shit. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, he said it's
I'll
okay.
take okay. I'll take okay, GR.
What was the movie where there's a guy who's at the very end of the movie, he gets to the edge of his world and it's just a grid going out.
Well, that happens in Tron Legacy in a way. He goes to the very edge of it. Oh,
what?
So I don't think he's talking about Free Guy. Free Guy was a great movie, though.
That happens in Free Guy.
Have you seen Free Guy?
That might be what I'm thinking of. I don't know. He lives in he's like
a video game.
No, it's not a video game.
Okay, then it's not.
I don't know.
Guy.
No, I don't know what it is. It's a movie, and he finds out that he's stuck inside of a program, and he eventually he finds his way out to the edge of it, and it's this big epic ending to the movie where it's like looking at him, looking at it. And then it spins around, and it's just these green lines going off into infinity. Oh. So he got to the edge of the program.
Is this Lawnmower Man, maybe?
No. Lawnmower Man?
I mean, because you ever see Lawnmower Man? That's also like the guy goes into a computer program, and he gets kind of trapped a little bit.
That movie is super old.
Yeah, I know. It's a really weird movie, too, Lawnmower Man. Yeah, it's really weird. Is it a guy remembers a Carrot Top who stars in it? I know it's not Carrot Top, but it reminds me of Carrot Top. That movie was insane. But GR, what do you say? Okay, it's a step above shit, Brian, but only one step. I'll take that one step, GR. I'll take it right now.
Yep.
You've stepped over the pile of shit. You stepped over the pile of shit. You didn't step in it. There's a fart in the wind. And it doesn't smell the best, but it doesn't smell the worst. That's all I'm saying. Me personally, it's a great movie, but you know that's me, and a lot of people will disagree with me, but I'll stick to it.
I'm gonna watch it, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, you let me know, and I'm gonna tell you one thing. You're gonna know right away. The score's awesome, and Jeff Bridges does a great job. And the only thing about Jeff Bridges' performance for me is he's too much like the dude. Like he does kind of, he's like, yo, man. But he's been like that more and more the older he gets. I think that's just Jeff Bridges coming out a little bit in his performance. Like that R.I.P.D. movie when he did the same kind of twang and, as the dude a little bit. But that's Jeff Bridges. Now we'll fucking go to bat for him. He just battled with cancer. He thought he was going to die. And he came back, which is amazing. He beat it. And now he's acting again. We was talking about that in his Lifetime Achievement Award. So good on him. Keep going, Jeff. Keep going. We started watching The Old Man. Haven't finished that yet. Everyone raves about his performance. He is great in that, but only watched a couple episodes, but it's pretty good.
I'll tell you what, he's not in that. The fucking dude. He couldn't be further from the dude in that show, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're doing a season 2 of that now too. So it's moving forward for him. So kudos to Jeff Bridges for coming back and kicking some fucking ass. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, see, GR loved R.I.P.D. GR, a lot of people hated that movie. I enjoyed it too. Kevin Bacon was great in that movie. It's a weird fucking movie, but Kevin Bacon's great. It's kind of like Men in Black, but but they're dead.
Baconator's still in doing
the Baconator's in that shit. Yeah, hell yeah, Baconator's fucking working. That fool's going nowhere. That fool's great. If you watch the Guardian special too, he's awesome in the Guardian special, the holiday special. Right. Fuck yeah, Bacon. Bacon all day, every day. Thank you so much. That's all I'm saying.
Thick cut. Got it.
Anyways, it's been a great program. Thank you for being here, Jake. Thank you for joining us again. And never enough time. Sabrina, thank you. You are amazing for being here. In and out, both of you. I appreciate you. This isn't a show without the both of you. So thank you again. And thank you, everybody who's viewing this. Thank you, GR in the chats. Thank you for keep coming back. And anybody else that's watching this after the fact, thank you. Please though. If you haven't liked this, like this video, like a previous video, like this, the 102 videos we got there, like them. Subscribe to our channel. We're at 76. That's right, 76, everybody. We got to get to 100 before the month is done. We got another week. We can do it. Come on, together. Kruse Control can get to 1 million. We can do it all day, every day. 1 million up. But right now, hundreds first. See you, GR. Thank you, everybody. Join our Patreon if you can. Have a great night. We'll see you back here again on Monday. Happy weekend, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you later. Take care. See ya.